Hi, Capricorn. So, it got unexpectedly cold and shady for a moment. And I thought, let's use it. Let's do the Capricorn video. The sun opposes you in Cancer. A line of demarcation is drawn between summer and winter, and new beginnings and endings for you. Really, really productive new beginnings that could last more than a decade. We're excited. Why am I shuffling the cards face down? I don't know, because it doesn't make a difference. This is a new deck. I'm excited about this new deck, actually. And I'm also really excited to see what kind of new beginnings are coming up for you guys, because they're big ones. That's always what Cancer season ends up being about for you. In 6 months, what will you have to bring to completion? What will you have to deal with? The beginnings of what you'll deal with in your season. And there's an eclipse as well in Cancer. There's a retrograde. The Empress in reverse. Interesting first card out, being that it is an Earth card. It's a card I like to associate with female Tauruses, but female Earth signs in general. So, if you are a female Capricorn watching right now, or you're watching for a female Capricorn, they're coming up as being a bit turned around at the beginning of Cancer season. And that makes sense. Like I said, the sun is opposing you, but it will pull a great abundance and fertility out of you. Many of you may find out at this time that you're pregnant, or you may become pregnant. The Empress is pregnant. It also is the beginning of what will later become your season, harvest. It's that middle line. So it's you in your power, but turned around. Cancer season. That's it right there. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with being pulled on by the sun? Great emotional waves. It's like what I just told Sagittarius when I did their reading. If you stand up in this ocean, the tides are just going to knock you down over and over again, break your bones. But if you float, if you just lay down in it and submerge yourself in it, you'll become it. And if you can become it, you will feel the up and down of the waves, but they will not harm you, and they will not scare you, and they will not knock you over, because you'll be in it. So how does Capricorn get in it? Well, you have a fish's body. You can do this. You can swim in this Grand Trine, Grand Water Trine, subtle Earth Trine, ether. You can swim here. Sure, is it a little disconcerting? Yeah. Is there a lot that's going to be going on? Sure. Is it surprising news? Yes. But is it good news? Absolutely. It's the Empress turned around. It's not, you know, it's not the Five of Swords. It's the Empress turned around. So, still the Empress, just needs to be attended to. And if you're watching this for yourself, what part of you needs to be attended to? The part that has to do with how you think of yourself, how you feel about yourself. When you guys are getting into new stuff, you're really critical of yourselves. You're really hard on yourselves, more so than any other person would be. And you assume that they're thinking all these things that they're not thinking. And you assume that there's all these standards put on you that aren't real. It's just ways that you corner yourself and hold yourself back from being happy, because it's not quite, you're not quite as good as you should be yet. It's the way you can hide behind accomplishment and hide behind any form of working on something to not have to actually do the thing. Working on things and doing things are very different, you know? Working on something is super fun, but all the prep and all the doing, it's supposed to be for some larger sense of satisfaction, right? It's supposed to be for some larger end goal. And I think this month shows you Cancer season shows you what that is. And that's uncomfortable for you guys because that's the opposite of what you like. You like the work part. Sure, you like fruition, but not the way Cancer does. Cancer wants everything to bloom. And so now it's going to give you a chance to look at what in your life needs to be seen, perhaps upside down from Cancer's point of view. Well, from your point of view, this is what Cancer looks like. What you need to bloom. Cancer season is going to bring it out of you, whether you're ready for it or not. You know, you can't see it. You can't see what's going to happen. You got to just go with it. Oh, speaking of the Five of Swords, here it is, upright. Okay, so Capricorn, if you are feeling deceived, or if you have deceived someone, this is the season. That card came up in the Scorpio reading as well. I think it came up, no, I'm sorry, it came up in the Sag reading. If you are feeling deceived, this is the month where things will be revealed. All of that back and forth, all of that, you know, shady stuff that you knew was going on. The sun and the star. So if this has to do with an Aquarius or a Leo, the truth is just going to come pouring out. Aquarius is having a hard time. I think in the other deck, the one I use for Sag, the first two cards out are the Five of Swords and the Star. So, I mean, I just feel like Aquarians are, wow, something is going on. Like, they're really being found out. I'm wondering if I should do their reading, like, right away. Because it's a lot. Like, it's so many different signs that are getting the same messages for Aquarius. So, yeah, or the other way around, if you have been deceiving an Aquarius, Ace of Cups. So, it has to do with love. I was going to say it could be in terms of money, or it has to do with love. If you have been deceiving an Aquarius in terms of love, that cup is about to spill. They're gonna find out. Everyone needs to know what's going on. King of Pentacles. Now, if you are dealing with another earth sign, they're coming up very strong. Or this is just you, going from the Empress in reverse to the King of Pentacles upright. Not necessarily a promotion, but at least we're turned around the right way now. So towards the middle of the month, feeling a bit better about how tumultuous all the facts coming to light in Cancer season, flushing our wounds can be. If we decide to float instead of standing still in the ocean, we will not drown. Ace of Cups is that overflowing Cancer season that we're talking about, that ocean of love. Tough love. Cancer is all about tough love. They're either all about tough love or they enable everyone. So if you find yourself vacillating between those two energies, you are not crazy. You are just a Capricorn in Cancer season. You are way out of your element, and yet fishtail intact. So swimming these waters, how do we do it? A lot of water. Ace of Cups, the Star, a lot of water imagery. There's a river behind the Empress there, of course, an image of fecundity. And the Sun cards, abundance, abundance. So how do we navigate all this water? There's even a water rushing behind the Five of Cups guy, the Five of Swords guy, right? There's a river behind the King of Pentacles. Wow, there's water in all of these cards. That's what you call a Grand Water Trine reading for a Capricorn. So not only is the Sun opposing you, it's opposing you in a Grand Water Trine. So it's got the elements of that Neptune energy, right? In Pisces, it's got the elements of the Jupiter energy in Scorpio. Excuse me. You are going to have to swim or you will drown. And drown with what? Because everything else on the table is positive. It's that Five of Swords. If you let that deception, whether it's self-deception or external, if you let it get to you this month, Seven of Swords and Six of Swords. If you let that deception get to you this month and you internalize it, you will suffer. If you let these deceptions come out and you let Cancer season do what it does and bring the truth to light, then you can make the smart decision, Six of Swords, to end some things so new beginnings are possible. So whoever is lying to you, let them go so new things can come in. We've talked about this several times before, and I feel like what's happening at this point is just that you are lying to yourself. Queen of bees. Why? Just why? Just everywhere, all the time, everywhere I go, just bees, honeybees, just right here. I'm not really even scared of bees. It's just anything that's going to do that is a little bit. Never mind. So, Queen of Wands. If you have been in some sort of deceptive situation, still with this fire energy, here they are yet again. Things are ending and things are beginning, and Cancer season is so out of control that way. It does not listen. It does not care what you want. This is a roller coaster you are going on. Put your hands up, scream, and have a good time. I'm not sure what else to tell you. It's all positive. It's just we have to be honest with ourselves before new beginnings are possible. I think a lot of this Seven of Swords is self-deception at this point because you already know all the truths. It's not like new things are going to be revealed. It's like old things that are just going to be shown to you in a new light. It's retrograde stuff. Like, why can't you see that this isn't right? Why can't you see that this isn't the way? If you're in love with a Capricorn, you're watching for them. I feel like they really can't tell themselves like what the right way is, which is confusing for them because usually they always know. But Cancer season has a way to turn the cardinal signs around. Like upside down. Like it really messes with the cardinal signs a lot. Cancer energy is cardinal, but it's such a maverick. Like it doesn't move the way the other cardinals move. It doesn't have to. It feels in a lot of ways superior, and it really pulls on everybody in the zodiac. And the way that it's pulling on you with this Ace of Cups, I mean, there is so much water in these cards. When I show you the cards, you'll see it's overwhelming, right? Even behind the Seven of Swords guy in the background, there's water. It's just water, water, water. It is quite a lot, you know, and there's a lot of bells that need to toll, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot that has to come out, a lot that has to be dealt with. And we can't keep staying in this place where we keep forgiving people that we know are, that either we know we can't stop lying to, or we know just aren't any good for us. And we can't keep getting into new situations under false premises either. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just never going to work out if every new situation that you get into, you're presenting yourself in a new way instead of like being authentic to what's really going on. And that, again, that applies to you or the person you're dealing with. There has been some sort of deception in terms of image. Like you portrayed yourself one way, or they portrayed themselves one way, but that's not really what it's about. And a lot of you may also be feeling like you're coming into Cancer season. A lot of people can feel like, oh, I missed my chance. You know, Emperor in reverse, Five of Swords. Like, I missed my chance. Like, I had a chance at something great. And it's like, no, not even. That was just like a trial run. That's not even really the chance yet. The chances are yet to come. You got 6 months after this eclipse. And they're going to move fast. And a lot of stuff is going to change. But it's going to be all for the better. If you keep thinking like stuck in the past about something that happened before, oh, I missed my chance, or oh, you know, now that can't happen for me anymore. I don't know why you'd even think that way, except that I do know because Cancer season brings that out in people. It brings your worst fears out. It brings your worst fears out. Let's not forget the symbolism of why in sphere, the sphere that makes everything you think about, good or bad, come true, is found at the bottom of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Nine of Wands. So 6 of Wands, these 6 of Wands, 9 of Wands. Victory. And so much yet to be revealed that you just can't see yet. Isn't that what I just said? You can't see it yet for how good it is. From your vantage point, from your cardinal Capricorn vantage point, whenever you forget that you're half fish, you get turned around. Whenever you start leading from here, you get turned around. Because remember, goats are ordinary, they're stubborn, they don't really do things out of logic, they do things to be reactive. And the fish part of you, that Pisces part of you, wants to pull you the other way. Like, no, no, no. You know, flow with it. Flow with it and use the horns the way I want you to use the horns. Don't let the horns run you. Because it's all good things, but you need to get through to the truth of the thing within you and within other people, within these relationships, before this new good stuff can happen to you. You know, Six of Swords to Six of Wands, it's a really profound change of state. It's empowerment in both cases, though. The steps of empowerment are clear. First, you got to get clear of stuff in your head before you can get clear of stuff in the real world. You see, whatever you do in your mind then materializes through that fire energy into matter. You understand? That's where your disconnect has been. That's why there's so much that's still waiting for you just behind a door that you can't open yet, because you won't let go of stuff. You can't keep doing this. Want your cake and eat it too. Holding on to two doorknobs, trying to get through both doors. It's just not going to work. You got to let one go. You got to pick the other one, however you want this to go. But you need to choose. If this is in terms of work, love, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you need to choose. You can't keep doing this back and forth. Mostly in your mind. But you know what it does is it presents a really splintered message to your manifestation machine, you know, to your subconscious, which is what's manifesting this hologram, because your subconscious is programmed for you to learn certain things while you're here. And so the hologram is just the way, it's a learning tool, right? So it's been programmed to teach you a certain lesson. Four of Wands. I mean, it's really, really, really good. Bottom of the deck, the Lovers. Five of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. We'll look at it. We'll look at that in the extended. So I'm going to turn this camera around so we can look at these cards together, because it's such a good, especially with this Four of Wands out now. Like, you'll see it yourself, how good it's going to be after this. But, you know, it's about floating through, because if you can float through, you're coming into so much good stuff. But just that first week, especially of July, first 1.5 weeks of July, is so much to take in that you need to just immerse yourself in it and let yourself and let the tide take you where the tide wants to take you. Let this water take you where it wants. Use the watery part of yourself to stay completely in tune with what Cancer's trying to give you right now. You know, you and Cancer are a lot alike. You may not realize that, but just like they pull on you, you pull on people too. And I think what Cancer is going to show you this month is that you pull on yourself the most, and in ways that are not fair, and in ways, things that you try to live up to that later turn into bad situations for you, but really it started from you not, you know, thinking enough of yourself. And like that also, that has a Cancerian twist to it. Like you guys definitely have a lot more in common than you realize. So when someone is like the opposite, the shadow of you, and the sun is there, you know, illuminating that part, it's like illuminating your shadow, right? And there's really positive things about that, because you can clear out the gunk and we can install some new lessons to be learned, you know, and so the hologram will change after that, because once you learn the lesson and that particular program is deleted because it's no, you know, it's obsolete now, it's not needed, that change has been integrated into the body and into the mind, then it becomes integrated into your externality. And once that happens, you know, all these things that are just waiting to come to fruition do, and they do so in a really, really grand way. All right. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see from my vantage point, because we got to start learning how to read these cards. So you're not dependent on anyone to do that. You can just read for yourself whenever you want. That's important for me, I feel, especially with the current climate and what's going on everywhere, just on YouTube, on all platforms. I just feel like the most independence that you can have with a tool like this, the more independence you can have, the better, because it is a personal thing after all, and you'll get so much more insight into it when you do it yourself. And it also, you know, there is something to be said for reading for yourself and the level of authenticity that then you're able to pick up on in other people who read. Because when you read for yourself, you start to realize who and what you're resonating with. And you're like, whoa, I pulled the same cards. That's so cool, because you're picking up on a general vibe. So it's a really cool way to see also if you're syncing, right? And who you're syncing with, who you're in tune with. So having said all that, in the info box below, there's going to be all sorts of details. Eventbrite details for Atlanta, for Oakland. I'm going to put some up later tonight for Denver and DC. Links for the extended. If you go to the website, you click extended readings and it takes you to all the extended videos. You can stream them, you can download them and watch them when you don't have service, or you can use the Shopify link and go through PayPal and I'll send you a link. So all that will be below. I'm going to turn the camera around. We can look at these cards together and learn a little about reading. I'll be right back. Hi, Capricorn. All right, so now that you can see the cards, first of all, a lot of abundance. Second of all, I'd like to point out that I just rewatched the first part of this before I did this, and I really like this reading because you are at a pivotal half-year point where you do install new lessons. And I know I made that point, but I just want to go over it again because it's so obvious to me. You have such a great period of growth coming up. Successes. It's obvious. And it's also obvious that what's been holding you back has been somewhere in the realm of self-deception. It may have poured into others being deceived, but I think a lot of it stems from you being really hard on yourself. And Cancer season is going to really make you face some stuff that will show you, you think it's going to show you how weak you are, but actually it's going to show you how strong you are. And because of that, you're going to be able to leave behind certain issues that you've been carrying for a long time. And you'll be able to, when you do that, you'll be able to see very clearly where your mind likes to drag you back to. And what deceptions you carry, that are coded into you that your mind drags you back to and drags you away from your power, drags you away from the manifestation ability that one needs to really enjoy life and live it the way you know you're supposed to be living it, and to be receiving the opportunities and the successes that you absolutely are sure you deserve. But you're like, what? It's like, it's just been forever. It's taken so long. It's 5, 6, 7 years, right? And now, boom, all of a sudden we're in Cancer season, especially if you work with a Cancer. So as a Capricorn, if you work with a Cancer, you will feel this effect even more. If you are working with Aquarians and Leos, you may feel that this is a time of great competition with them because they're also harnessing this Cancer energy and wanting to get to the top. Very competitive, both of those signs, right? So if this is office politics and you have a larger role in the situation, right? There is deception going on behind your back. You know it, but it's still affecting you. You want to act like you don't care about it, but it is affecting you. Cancer season comes in like a saline flush, rightfully reinstates you in your power in terms of how you feel about you. It's going to take you a little bit longer to get back where you were, but that's okay. There is a lessening required so you can leave certain parts. When you have to get rid of certain things, sure, you could see it as a lessening of self, but that's just your perspective. You could also see it as making room for something better. What we don't want to do is fill that empty space that we create with equally destructive falsehoods of another kind, or to have that Cancerian pull make us circular and back into what we're trying to get out of. This can be like a whirlpool. I'm sure you can see it. And of course it would be, because it's a Grand Water Trine that's happening above you. And so it is, you are the whirlpool. You are what's pulling it the other way. And so what you don't want to do is get lost in that whirlpool energy yourself. What you want to do is you want to harness the power of this water spiral right now and spiral up out of it. Now, how do you do that?
Because what you have here is just a basic indication of, that's where the camera cut out. So how do we make sense of something that is just your feeling? Well, we have to develop some sort of a strategy. The way out is to float on top of the water as the water rises in the well. Here you are at the bottom of the well. The water's coming in. You want to sit on top of that water. And how do you do that without drowning? You sit still. You float. Get light as air. Don't hang on to stuff. Float up above this stuff and get out of the well. Get out of the hole that you're in. That's the only way I see. And how do you get light? How do you pick up that buoyancy? We got to let go of stuff that others have done. We got to let go of the stuff that we think that we've done to ourselves. We've got to let go of this super judgmental thing, this self-talk that we've got going on. It's really important because remember, Cancer comes in and it exposes your most vulnerable point. And I really do believe that for you guys, your most vulnerable point is that you can lack awareness of how brutal you are to yourselves. I really think this. I think that you guys think it's normal, and it's not normal, and it's destructive. And I think Cancer season wants to show you that. And once you are able to at least admit, I'm not saying change it even, I'm saying at least admit to yourselves that there is too much pressure here. Too much pressure on yourself, on others, like just too much, because whatever you're doing internally, you're also doing externally, right? When you realize that, you will naturally become a bit lighter, a bit more buoyant. You will be able to harness this fire because you have a free hand to do so. You know, so many times we associate this card, this Seven of Swords, with just deception, just plain deception and theft. But in the case of Capricorns, there's very few people running around actually stealing from you or lying to you. They're not stupid. They know you. And if they don't know you, they've heard of you. A lot of times when you have a character like that externally people don't really mess with, they're usually doing this inside. They're bullying themselves. They're hurting themselves. And then that may also show externally. Someone who has a heavy Capricorn placement, especially if they're a Gemini, may be realizing how much they have been deceiving themselves. And how much they stand to gain if they were to admit it. Because if you keep going down this road, and Capricorn, this applies to you if you're dealing with a Gemini, if you keep going down this road without addressing the things that Cancer wants to bring up and show you, it's just slow going, not the fruition we're looking for sure. It's going to slow everything down because you're just going to have to go back and learn the thing again. And then maybe you have to wait until Uranus comes back into Taurus, next year. But it's not easy. in the extended, we'll clarify. But it's not an easy thing to realize about the self. And it's not an easy thing to realize about others if that's what's happening either. It's not easy. But it's always there to illuminate something in you, because that's the thing. We always know when we're being lied to. We always know when we're lying, but it's a veil that keeps it from us, because for some reason or other we've decided that we're justified in it. And like I said, this season pulls no punches. It wants to give you a lot of water, but it wants you clear before it gives you that water so you don't drown. You got to be light enough to float on it. All right, I will see you in the extended. Links for everything below. I love you guys. I love this reading. I'll see you in August. And I'll see you in Atlanta or New York or DC or Seattle at Hempfest or LA or the Bay, August 10th. And oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. I'll see you in all of those places, inshallah. Bye, I love you.